All right, let's go ahead and get started. Coach, this past weekend, wins over Texas A&M Kingsville International. How would you say your team performed this week?
I thought we took some big steps forward this week. Really want to first start off by saying thanks to our administration. I mean, it was a unbelievable weekend. We had a lot going on. Awesome to see Chuck's team, Angelo State Volleyball, win the regional championship this weekend. So we were dealing with that. We were trying to get our games in. Alicia's trying to get her games in. So very busy weekend. I thought we had two great crowds for both of our games, which was great to see, especially on Thursday. Our Thursday night attendance was really good. But, I was excited to see us progress this week. I was really pleased with our defensive effort in both of our games. I thought it kept us in the game on Thursday for sure. We hung around, and eventually took the lead and kept it at that stage, which was good. And then Saturday we had some defensive possessions that were incredible. And I think it's something that hasn't been talked about. I've said it in these interviews, but we played 7 games. In 6 of the 7 games, we've held our opponent under 70 points, which is very impressive. With the way the game's officiated, and it's catered more towards offense these days and things like that. These guys are really getting after it on the defensive end. We got 3 shot clock violations on Saturday, which is unheard of in today's game right now. So, I'm really, really impressed with the way we've taken steps on that side, and I just think we keep getting better and better on the offensive end right now.
You never trailed in your last game versus International, so how important was that fast start, and how were you guys able to keep pace the entire duration of the game?
I just think we're playing together much better than we were the previous few weeks. It's something that we've harped on. We talked about it here a week ago. If you came out and watched us even warm up for the game, our guys linked arms and ran over and back together. We call it a together run. And we're doing some unique and different things to just try to get us to understand if we do it together, we're a really good team. And I thought you saw that this week more than you have in the previous weeks up to this point. So I think, it's really helped our offense more than anything. Sterling, Guest, and Chapman started things off on Thursday with 3 assists before he even scored. And so I think when our leading scorers willing to be that kind of player, it can bleed into everybody on our team. So, I think it's been fun to see our guys start to do that and find each other a little bit better. And I thought that's what helped us on Saturday. Our defense has been the constant. I think it's what's helped us win the games that we have at this stage. But when our offense gets going and things like that, I think we can be a little bit harder to beat.
So on top of that, your previous game, so against Kingsville on Thursday, it was the exact opposite start. You go the first 6-20 without, or just only scoring 3 points.
Yep.
So what does this say about your team's ability to come back and win in several ways and to win in different ways?
Well, I think it speaks on the stubbornness of me. I mean, everyone kept asking why I wasn't going to take a timeout during that stretch. And, I got confidence in our guys. And that's the thing I'm going to echo more than anything. We know what we're supposed to do. It's just getting them to do it. I thought the first, 6 minutes or so was them overly trying to do what I'm asking right now, which is share the ball. And we were passing the ball so much that we were forgetting to go and score. And so I'll take the blame, for those first 6 minutes, but that's really our guys trying to do what I'm asking them to do. And so why take a timeout and get mad at them or anything like that when they are really trying to do what I'm asking right now as a team. And I'm just glad we're seeing some success doing that, because that creates more and more buy-in. When you have the group that we have, we don't have strong leadership back and things like that. We got some guys that are good leaders, but this is their first time in these roles as well, even our returners. It was Willie Guy and KK Godwin and Keyshawn Emery-Simpson and Trey Farr. Those were the vocal guys a year ago. And the awesome thing about our culture is Willie Guy and KK, they're still texting our seniors that are returners right now and saying, hey, I watched the game, here's what I think, here's what you can do, keep doing this, and things like that. And I think those returners are getting more and more comfortable speaking to the new guys, and I think the new guys, because of the success, are starting to hear them a little bit more. There's a difference in listening and hearing, and I think the longer this thing goes and the more success you see, the more chance for buy-in you have. And I think they're starting to buy into each other a little bit more, and I think that's what you're trying to see, or starting to see. And that's what I want as a coach. When you get in those spans where we're not scoring, where we're not getting stops, whatever it is, sometimes it's just relying on our culture to see if our culture can figure it out. And I think you're starting to see some of that.
That's a perfect segue to my next question, actually, is about the bench. Your bench outscored International 31-17. So you mentioned the whole aspect of leadership and teamwork just across the entire team. So I guess that's a big role in your depth overall.
Well, no, we weren't doing that early in the year. You know, the same players that you're saying scored 31 points were also the same ones giving us 4 to 6 a game. And so I think we're seeing some really good play out of Denham Dawson right now. You know, the last 3 games, I think his confidence has finally started showing up on the floor. You know, he was a kid that he's been to a couple different schools, and he's played some minutes and things like that, but he's just lacked some confidence, and it's something that, you know, we've talked about a lot in our individual meetings. And so it's just awesome to see him get the payoff. Same thing with Jalen Gilmore. He did not have a great start to his time here at Angelo State. He started off with an injury, so he was out the first 6 to 8 weeks. Couldn't even be a part of half the preseason. Now that he's starting to get back, get a little bit more comfortable, start buying into things we're asking. You know, he played his largest minute production game on Saturday, 26 minutes, has 10.6 assists. So, you know, it's there as far as the coaching standpoint and what we've recruited and what we've put in the program. It's just great to finally start seeing it, you know. But, you know, to me, it's just, we talk about effort more than anything and just playing hard, and if you do the right things, say the right things, good things are going to happen. You know, a good chunk of our team, we were at the volleyball game yesterday at the regional championship game, and I texted Chuck, I mean, to see Ireland Ferguson dive into the bench to save a ball and then win that point, you know, those are the kind of plays I want our kids to make, and I think you've seen some of that when you've seen some of the effort plays our guys have made. And it's just great when they can see it in a different light, that those plays are what leads to success. And so for them to be able to sit there and see someone else do it and the success they're having and those things being done, I hope it continues to strengthen the things that we're saying and trying to do as a program as well.
So would you say at this point in the season, this team has found its identity, or at least it's starting to come together? You started 2-2, and now you've won 3 to close your homestand. Would you say your team's found its identity yet?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say we're really good at home. I mean, I think that's the case if you look at the course of my time here. We're, I don't know, 28-2 or something like that at home. And, you know, for whatever reason, we've played really well here. Scary things, we go on the road. There were 16 league games on Thursday and Saturday, and only 2 road teams won. And so now we got to go out and try to do what obviously in our league is really hard to do, which is go and win on the road. You know, so I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I'm feeling good about things. I think we're a work in progress. I think we're starting to see some positive progress moving forward. But to say we're closer to where we need to be at, no. I mean, I don't want us to start getting to that stage till January or February. You know, we're always going to say that in our program. We want to play our best when it really matters, and it matters in January and February. Not to say these don't matter because they're league games, but, you know, I know we're a work in progress right now. You know, we've played 7 games now as a team, and 10 new guys, 4 guys that didn't play much last year. And so every game that we play, I expect us to get better and better and better. And every minute that we play, you know, for me is a challenge to our guys of, you know, are you taking possessions off, or are you valuing each possession on both ends of the floor? You know, and it doesn't matter if you turn it over. Are you sprinting back? Is that your response to a mistake? And it's the thing we've talked about more than anything this year is, you know, what's your response? You know, whether it's a good play, whether it's a bad play, you know, what happens next? And for us, hey, what's going to happen next this week? Because, you know, we got to win today, we got to win tomorrow, but we got to get ready for a really good Oklahoma Christian team on the road, you know, that's capable of putting up a lot of points in a hurry.
So you don't play your next home game until a month from today, January 9th. So how will this next week off help prepare you guys for the long road trip ahead?
That's how we started our season. You know, our scrimmages were on the road. We opened on the road. So we tried to give them a taste of that early because we know a big chunk of this semester is figuring out how to win on the road. So I do think we're tested in that, you know, as far as traveling and all that stuff. But it's just, hey, you know, are we going to value each possession when we get there? You know, and I think the hardest thing is when it's you on the road, it's just your team. You know, in Division II, I don't care what sport it is, you don't have a great following when it comes to attendance on the road. And so it is a true road game where it's you guys against the world almost. And are we going to be a more together team when we get on the road? And I think we've started figuring that part out even better. If you saw our bench energy on Thursday and Saturday, it was incredible. I mean, even when I watch on the film, guys that I know want to be out on the floor, they are still celebrating and cheering the successes of the other guys on the floor. And when your team starts looking like that, then you got an even greater chance to find success on the road, because then you can truly go and try to do something together, because that's the only way you're going to get it done on the road.
Coach, of course, you already kind of mentioned about Oklahoma Christian on Saturday. Of course, you mentioned following that you have Cameron on the road, and then a trip to Vegas. Obviously, Vegas a little bit away with the close of the calendar year. So what do you expect out of those matches with Oklahoma Christian and Cameron?
Two very good teams. I mean, we've always had trouble winning at Oklahoma Christian. 2 years ago, we won essentially at the buzzer. Fredeline De La Cruz scored a crucial bucket in the last 50 seconds to help us get that win down there. And then it was a close one here a year ago. And then same thing with Cameron. We went over there and got beat a year ago at Cameron. Kevin O'Connor had one of the biggest wins in the league last year when he beat WT in the conference tournament. They were the 8th seed and beat the number 1 seed, and WT had won 6 consecutive conference tournament titles. And so, they return a good chunk of their team from a year ago, as does Oklahoma Christian. Both have brought in really good players. Oklahoma Christian, brought in a kid from DePaul that's averaging 18 a game right now, Keandre Young, who's a phenomenal talent. They welcome back Marco Foster, who was on their team as a freshman. He was all conference, journeyman. He went to a few other places, finishing his career now at Oklahoma Christian back this year, and is their second leading scorer. So they got some experience. They got some guys that know how to do it, along with Cameron, and I think both coaches are really good coaches in our conference. I think both places are really tough places to play, and we're going to continue to echo that it's about us. We're going to obviously prepare and do the things we need to get ready, but I'm still trying to figure out who we are as a team. And it goes back to the identity that we just talked about a second ago. Is are we forming our identity of who we're going to be? And I think we're going to continue to try to strengthen that as we get ready for this weekend, because that's the only thing that's going to help us find some success this weekend.
And of course, with the ever-evolving door that is college basketball, with the transfer portal and everything, we're seeing a lot of major impacts coming in from the new guys on the team this year. Can you kind of talk more into that, specifically like Sterling Gaston Chapman, Caden Evans, and also you mentioned Denham Dawson just a little bit ago?
Well, it's why you recruit some of those guys. Caden Evans, the second he went in the portal, I told my staff, we got to get that kid here. I've played against that kid when I was at Northwestern Oklahoma State. He was at Emporia. I'm really good friends with their coach. Their coach got a Division I job down at Houston Christian. And so the second he decided to hit the portal, I knew we wanted him. And it wasn't just because of the player that he is. It's the person that he is, too, his leadership ability. He's a 6th-year player. He's dealt with some injuries, things like that. But he's had a season where he led the nation in steals per game already. He has been a career Division II guy. This is his 6th year in Division II, and it's a guy that understands this level. And so when I'm explaining to our guys how important a regional matchup in November is, he can echo the same thing in the locker room. That stuff's invaluable, because I think the way we do things sometimes at our level is different. So when you get a guy like Sterling Gaston Chapman into our level, he's a talent, there's no doubt about it, but does he understand our level? And it's getting those guys in a hurry to get, hey, all these teams have good players. We're getting ready to play Oklahoma Christian, who has a kid from DePaul on their team. And once, 20 years ago when I first joined the league, you were fortunate to land a kid like that in a program, much less play against one, And I remember, in my early days at WT, we had a kid named Damian Lawler, who was incredible. And then we'd come here and we'd play Marcus Hubbard, who was just as good, if not better. And those guys back in the day, those were anomalies. And now you see those guys on every roster right now, as you'll see a guy from a Power 5 school on a roster. So, it's not getting them, it's incorporating them, it's getting them to buy in, it's getting them to figure out how they fit and what they can do to help us win. Because, you want to try to stay away from guys that have an agenda to where it's just about themselves, and find guys that are trying to help us do something special. And, where Caden Evans was good, he'd been to NCAA tournament at Division II level. He knows what it takes to win at this level. And so when you get some of our returners who have seen and tasted that success, I think bringing those guys in and finding guys that are winners and come from winning programs, that's what we're trying to do as a coaching staff, and we say it in our recruiting board every year. I don't want guys that come from losing programs. I don't care how talented they are. We want guys that know how to win, know what it takes to win, and that's how we're going to continue to recruit here while I'm here.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.